WWDC 2022 is less than 1 week away, and this past weekend, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman had a few more leaks that we could expect to see, like a new enhanced lock screen for iOS 16, improved multitasking for iPadOS, refined watch navigation in watchOS 9, more smart home features for tvOS, redesigned Mac apps in macOS 13, and so much more. So let's recap all of that and start with iOS 16. That's rumored to be a fairly significant upgrade, and one area that's focused on not really a whole lot is the lock screen. Gurman shares that the new lock screen should offer features like wallpapers that have widget-like capabilities, as well as an always-on display, but will end up being a feature that's going to be exclusive to the iPhone 14 Pro models and should be coming later this year. For those of you who need a refresher, always-on displays have been around for a long time, but with Android phones, and it allows users to quickly glance at their devices and see pertinent information illuminated at all times, like the time and date and notification icons. This works best with phones that have OLED displays, since only the pixels needed for the text or the icons would be turned on and the rest would be black and off, and so that would help you save some battery life. Apple wanted to implement this feature last year with the iPhone 13 and its new LTPO displays, but it has apparently been saved for this year and the iPhone 14 Pro models. Now, personally, I've wanted an always-on display for years, and I'm looking forward to actually having one on an iPhone soon. I've used it with a bunch of Android phones, and I know some people won't understand the point of an always-on display, but once you use it, I promise you'll quickly see how useful it is to be able to just glance at your phone, maybe on a table or a desk, and see whether or not there's something important that you need to interact with that minute, or maybe you didn't get a notification from something that you were expecting and you can just let it go, not have to pick up your phone and, engage with something else that's not your phone. Gurman also mentions that iPadOS could see some big improvements, specifically with windowing and multitasking. Now, we don't have a ton of information exactly on what that means, but apparently WebKit added infrastructure for a multitasking mode that would allow for developers to either toggle on or off the ability for users to freely resize windows. So this would be a huge feature if true for iPad users, because a lot of us iPad users have been clamoring for something like this, who want a more desktop-like experience when it comes to window and app management. And being able to freely resize and adjust windows like you can on macOS would be a huge step for iPad users. Gurman also says we can expect to see messages gain more social network-like functionality, specifically around audio messages. We can also expect to see new redesigned Mac apps and even an overhaul to system preferences to make it more in line with the iOS settings app. Gurman also mentioned that the Apple TV operating system, tvOS, will get more smart home tie-ins too, though we don't really have any more information surrounding what exactly it would be tying into. The Apple Watch will get some day-to-day operating and navigation improvements, and also the addition of a low power mode. Now, these latest rumors join some of the other rumors that we've heard over the last few months. So just quickly recapping a few of those, we can expect to see some improvements around notifications on iOS 16. Now, a personal wish list for me with notifications would be to see more continuity with notifications across other devices like iPad and Macs. And also, I really like the way Android has notification icons in the top left corner. Instead of having to swipe down like you do on iOS, you can just see what notification icons are up there. We can also expect to see a new crash detection feature that would alert emergency services if your iPhone or even an Apple Watch via watchOS 9 senses that you've been in a car crash. As I mentioned before, there has been a rumor around Apple showcasing, quote, fresh Apple apps. Not entirely sure what that means, but my guess is a refresh to some of Apple's core applications on the Mac and even on iOS and iPadOS. Perhaps the company might want to finally bring the Mac Mail app into the 21st century, even iOS's Mail app with better features. That would be great. Maybe we'll see a calculator app on the iPad, but I don't want to get too crazy. Apple Music could even see some improvements, and even a new spin-off app called Apple Classical, based entirely around You guessed it, classical music. There are tons of other minor features that are outlined in the guides and articles that I'll have linked in the description down below, so you can check out what you can expect to see from a software standpoint at WWDC 2022. Now, on the hardware side, it's not impossible that Apple could showcase its new mixed reality headset that has been full steam ahead after recent rumors circulated that Apple has demonstrated the product to its board members. But Gurman believes this likely won't happen next week at WWDC. What could happen is the introduction to Apple's M2 chip and a new MacBook Air that would feature said M2 chip in a new redesigned form factor. We have talked about this new MacBook Air for a long time now, so you can click here to see the latest videos surrounding all of that. But Gurman outlines that Apple has been aiming to launch the next MacBook Air with M2 chips at the WWDC conference. However, the recent supply chain crunch and COVID-related issues and closures in China has complicated that. But developers say that Apple employees are increasingly using next-generation MacBook Airs with their apps, so that's a sign that the new Mac is close. Of course, you can watch WWDC through Apple's website, YouTube channel, and even on the Apple TV app. But for those of you who are unable to watch it live, you can catch my recap video as well as hands-on with the latest software by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so, or you can follow along via a live blog on macrumors.com. Of course, I would love to know your thoughts on all of the things that we've discussed in this video in the comment section down below. Would love to know what features you're excited about or what you're hoping Apple will introduce at next week's WWDC 2022. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.